this. So we should be coming up live here in just yep, there it is. We actually been live for 6 seconds, but you know, who knows what people see out there. It's still blank over on my side, and it looks like it's trying to pull through. It says there we are. Awesome. There's a little bit of a lag. So it says we've been live for about 19 seconds already. We got John Wayne in the house. Hey, what's up, John Wayne? Glad that you're here. Mad Sloper. Walter from Australia. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. This is going to be another fun show. Tonight, we are going to be giving away a chase cam that I've printed up on my 3D printer. How awesome is that? So make sure that you stay here, share this with your friends, because, you know, the more people on here, the better. Oh, you know what? We also got the Millennium Falcon. I don't know if I want to get rid of this or not, because this thing is so freaking cool. Anyways, welcome.
You're going to give that away. I cannot, as long as that thing took to print.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also printed this out too. This is another chase cam that I just printed out. It has wings. It has fins.
That's cool. I've never seen one like that.
That's because I just printed it out.
That is pretty cool. Is that your own design?
And look at that too. It has 2 different colors. So I started printing the bottom white and then the rest black, so you can flip them over. Not really my complete design, but I was able to print it out, so this is fun. Yeah. Let's see. This is season 3, episode 107. Let me introduce everybody on the panel real quick, and then we're going to be chatting with Shane Wyman tonight. We talked a little bit on the pre-show. You're going to love what he has to say. Anyways, tonight we have Paramount USA, our very own Linda Anderson, with her mute on, so we can't hear her cheer. Why? Hey! We couldn't hear your cheer. There we go.
I know I had on mute.
We got to hear your cheer. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, this on Monday. Welcome. Welcome, my chatters. Welcome, my panel. Welcome, Shane. I'm so excited to have you here tonight. And we're going to have a good show, because this is what we do. We got JP jumping in the house.
JP's jumping in the house. Oh, my goodness. Now we're going to have like a really full panel.
Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. And thank you, Linda Anderson. We appreciate you. You are a PR girl. If you want to be on our show, go to ParamountUSA.com. It does forward over to her Facebook page. Just PM her and say, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, ClearPropTV.com, and Paratalk.org. We also got Will Fly, the PPG guy. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
It's good to be here. Real good to be here. Nice to meet Shane, and I've been busy watching his videos. I'm looking forward to tonight's show.
Absolutely. Now, you do a bunch of videos yourself too, but you haven't for a while because you got a little quad injury. But you do post a lot of videos. How do we get to see your paramotor shenanigans?
Yeah, well, if you like corny humor with a little bit of information mixed in there, you can visit me at YouTube under Will Fly, or just go to willflyppg.com. How's that for a shameless plug?
That is awesome. willflyppg.com. We also got JP Tulo, TikTok Tulo, in the house. You don't know this, but JP knows this. One of my students today, was it today or yesterday, said, hey, you got to go check this guy out. His name is JP. He's on TikTok. He flies paramotors. He's a really cool cat. Yep, I know the guy, JP, on the panel. What's up, JP? Good to see you, buddy.
Good to be here. Yeah, that made my day. That was too funny when you sent me that message, and he'd heard of me. I told Danny that I'll have an autograph session later.
Well, of course, you are the famous TikTok Tulo. How do we get up with how do we get to see your cool shenanigans? I mean, you got YouTube, you got TikTok,
Instagram, various forms of social media as JP Tulo, JP TULO. I'm also jptulo.com. I think you can get to any one of those if you go there. So yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Did you make any more than a 2.5 million on your TikTok yet? Or
no, it's kind of leveled out there.
All
So
right. All right. Well, whenever you get another good one that blows us out of the water, you got to let us know.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you everybody that's on the panel tonight, but it's not about us. It's about our guest, Shane Wyman. He's been flying for a while, but he's only had about 13 flights. He's a new student, and he has some fun stories to tell us about, including a couple props that broke. But that's a little bit later on in the show. Tonight, we're going to be talking with Shane. Shane, welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you made it today. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
So,
Well, for the people that don't know you, could you give us a little bit of background? Tell us about who you are, how you got into this sport, and why are you doing the paramotor thing?
yeah, I'd like to ask myself that question sometimes. So, I'm a lifelong aviation enthusiast. I always wanted to fly, and in my early 20s, I started building an airplane. It was a Mustang II, which is just about like a RV6 and high performance. And I just like building stuff. So I did that, and that was at that time I was going through my apprenticeship, and didn't have a whole lot of money, but I had a lot of time. Well, once I got through my apprenticeship, I hired into Ford, which is kind of in my trade. That's where you go. That's where the money was at, and I went from having no money and a lot of time to having more money and no time, because we work 7 days a week, and that's just pretty much the way the business works. So I ended up selling the plane and to an engineer, and I had it on its landing gear. It wasn't done, of course, but got through that. And I was an Oshkosh guy. I went every year for the whole week, and I remember watching the Trikes flying and over in the ultralight area, and I'm watching these guys crash. I mean, the wing would get oscillating, they'd flip over. I'm like, man, them guys are crazy. So 20 years later, here I am, surfing the internet one day, watching YouTube videos, and it might have been a Tucker Gott. He was flying low over a cornfield. I'm like, man, that's me. And started doing some research. I found Fly My PPG. Mike Cotter was the first call that I made. This was October of 2020. And I talked to him first, and it went good. And found Kyle Glee's videos and seen what he had to offer. He was my second call, and ended up making a decision and scheduled go to Louisiana for paramotor training in the spring of 21.
Now, you live where, and you traveled how far to go paramotor training?
I'm in Blissfield, Michigan. We are 10 miles over the line from Toledo, Ohio. And it took me 14 hours. It was a 1,000-mile trip. And boy, I tell you, I was on a mission. I got in my truck. I just got one thing of water, and I wouldn't even stop to eat. I would just take little sips of water so I wouldn't have to take bathroom breaks. The only time I stopped was to get fuel. So, yeah, I was pretty excited, to say the least.
That sounds like you're very, very committed. I mean, that's a very long way to go. And you were down there for what, 2 weeks? A week?
Well, that was the problem. I only had a week off work. So I got there on a Thursday and left on a Wednesday. And because of the weather, I was only able to get one flight in. So that was a bummer, but I thought I was good. I'm a very confident person. And when it comes to running stuff like, I flew airplanes too. So I did start my private pilots when I was working for Ford. And I think I had 38 hours in. So I had everything in except for passing the written. And I needed 2 hours a night flying. And yeah, I was close. But anyway, I had some experience being in the air. And I really wasn't worried about too much more than that. So yeah. So
Wow.
I can get into that first flight. And it was pretty interesting because there was a gentleman there actually from Farmington Hills, him and his wife, and they had trained with Kyle previously. So he was there doing the videotaping, and I lost comms when the wind came up. So I couldn't hear anything Kyle was saying. So I'm running, and squeezing the throttle. Of course, I didn't get into it quick enough, and I'm doing a real long taxi, and I'm turning up the throttle, and I'm not going. I'm coming up on this little hill where there's a little ditch, and I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? So I ended up, I was going to abort the launch, and I said, screw it. I just gripped the throttle and gave her everything she had. I jumped over the ditch. I landed, and then the next step, I was up in the air. And the guy videotaping thought I was going to crash, so he stopped filming it or panned away, and he panned back when I was up in the air. And I had an oscillation from hell going. I couldn't get in the seat. I couldn't hear Kyle. My heart was about ready to blow up. It was insane. And I just hung there because I was afraid to let go of the brakes to use my hands to get in the seat. So I just got altitude, and I'm sitting there swinging back and forth, and man, oh man, I made it through. But whew, yeah, that was crazy.
So that was your very first flight.
That was my very first flight.
Wow. So you have 13 flights under your belt now. So how many flights were you able to get in school, or did you count those flights in school and just counting what flights away from school, or how are you counting flights right now?
I'm counting them total from school, in which I only had the one. So once I got in the air, I knew I had to calm down a little bit. So I got in the seat and I flew around. I didn't have comms, and I just kind of watched the other gentleman that was from Farmington Hills, up by me, and was watching him take off, and he tripped and broke his prop. So he didn't make it up that day, but it was a beautiful sunset that night. So I'm like, I'm just going to chill out and fly around and enjoy it. And I did. And it was really nice. And towards the end of the flight, I could hear Kyle talking through my headphones, but I had no comms back to him. So one thing that happened was coming in for my landing, I wanted to make sure my glide slope was okay, reverting back to my airplane flying days. So I kind of knew what to look for. So I was going to do a go around anyway. And I came in, everything looked good. But so I came in for my landing on the second time, and I was going to kill the motor, and the motor wouldn't shut off. So I'm like, oh boy. So Kyle figured it out, and I could hear him talking. So he's like, well, just come around again and grip the throttle with your hand behind, grip the stick with your hand behind the throttle portion. So I couldn't inadvertently bump it when I landed. So I came in with the motor idling, and I kind of fell down, and everything went pretty good except my landing. I don't know if I didn't flare or what happened, but I kind of went into the ground pretty good, but nothing was hurt. It wasn't that fast. And yeah, I made it.
Wow. It sounds amazing. But you also said that you have 2 broken props. What were the stories behind that?
Well, so we'll lead up to that. When I got home, while I was down there, I knew I was going to want to fly, but everybody tells you not to get your wing, but I knew I'd have to have a motor. So I had Kyle order that before I got down there, hoping that I would have my own motor there. And I went with his recommendations. So it was a McFly with the Moster. And the last night I was there, we were waiting on weather to try to get another flight, and it just didn't work out. So I was going to leave that night, and Kyle gets his stuff from Matt Minyard. Well, Matt gave him a call and said my motor had come in. So we made a late night run and met Matt halfway from his place to Kyle's and picked my motor up. So that was good. So I made it home and waited on my wing. It took a couple weeks. I got my wing in early May, and boy, oh boy, it was on. And I got my motor broke in, had my wing laid out, and had probably a 3-4 mile wind that night. And went out, took off. Everything was awesome. I didn't have a very long run, and flew around, came in and landed, and fell down again. But once again, didn't hurt anything other than my pride. So yeah. So I went through a series of flights. I probably had 4, and I watched Kyle's videos about how he'll come in and just play around in the high winds, come do those no-step landings. So I'm like, oh man, I can do that. So it was a windy morning, got on, and yeah, my landing was nice and short, or my takeoff was short, and I made a lap around a circuit and I was above my neighbor's house and I wasn't moving at about 500 feet. So I'm like, oh, I might as well get down right now. And, I didn't know what to expect. I thought the wings were going to be too strong. So coming in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this one stepper. And I came in under power, and everything after that was kind of a blur because I might have been 10 foot in the air. I don't know if I gave up my brakes or what I did, but I come slamming down into the ground really hard and busted the prop and broke the cage, or the netting, of course. And the problem with this was I was about 5 days away from going on vacation, and I would planned on flying. So I'm laying there in the grass with a broken prop, and I get Kyle on the phone right away, and he shipped me another prop, and I got it before I left, and that was really cool.
That's good. So what kind of prop do you have? Is it a Helix or?
It was an E-prop, and
E-prop,
Kyle
okay.
sent me a Helix, which proved another problem because the hub's a little bit different thickness. So I had to figure out how long the screws to get, and went and got them, made it work. And so on vacation we go.
Right. So you started off with the E-prop that has the longer bolts, and then you went to the Helix that has the shorter bolts, and you had to go find your own bolts. Now, how did you find your own bolts? Did you look online and go over to some place that sells bolts, or did you order them online from a paramotor place, or how did you do that?
No, we got a hardware store in town with a very good fastener selection, and I went up there and measured what I needed, and they had it, and I made it work. So.
Awesome. Just so you guys know, we are going to be giving away a chase cam that I printed. So if you want a chase cam, who's putting in the winning wheels of winning things, the spinning wheel of winning things? Will Fly, right?
Yeah.
Will Fly is okay. So tag Will Fly and let him know that you want to be in the spinning wheel of winning things for a homemade 3D printed chase cam. And we're going to spin for that today. So make sure that you stay here because you have to be present to win. Also, too, we normally have the super chat where you can donate to me, but tonight it's actually a fundraiser. Any gift that you donate in the super chat is actually going directly to paralyzed veterans. So we have 12 thumbs up. Thank you very much. And 27 people watching. A little bit of shout outs to the people out there. We got Paramotor Girl, Deweese Milstead, James, Will Fly. Wow, Will Fly's in there too. That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are talking. Eric, ppglear.com. That's ppglear.com. You want to check him out because he has a show tomorrow also. JP Tools in the house. And man, it just goes on and on and on. Who else do we have in here? Paramotor Steve, Tommy Sutherland. Thank you guys so much. Bill H, Kelby Cox. You guys are awesome, and we couldn't do this without you. Remember, we are going to be spinning for a homemade 3D printed chase cam. So tag Will Fly, and we'll put you in that spinning wheel of winning things. Tonight, we are talking with Shane Wyman. He's been flying for a while, has 13 flights under his belt. He's 250 pounds. And what size wing do you have, bud?
I have a 26 meter. It's a Flow Cosmos Power, which I know there's not a lot of people out there that have them. So my feedback on it's been a little nil because nobody knows much about them. But I will say it's been a good wing for me. I've never had an issue kiting it. Out of all my takeoffs, I've never had to abort one. It's always gotten me in the air. And I have a lot of confidence in it, other than my landings have always been a little bit sketchy. So
when you say a little bit sketchy, are you talking about, because with a 26 meter wing and your 250 plus your gear, you're probably on the heaviest part of that wing, which means that you're on the advanced part, right?
Yes. According
so
to
when
the
you're on that
manual.
advanced part, when you're coming in for that landing, do you feel like you have a lot of speed that you need to bleed off, or
It feels that way, but I watch my videos, the few that I do have, and my first flight was on a Universal 1.1. That was a 28 meter, and I look at that speed when I was coming in and compare that to my wing of what videos I have when I come into land. And I don't see much of a difference as far as speed wise, but man, I'll tell you what, it's the best feeling in the world when I get it right. So if I get that flare right, and it's only a couple steps and I'm done. And man, is that a great feeling. So I don't know if I get too cocky or overconfident or what happens, or I just quit paying attention when I come into land. And man, I was a king of butt landing. It seemed like what I would do, instead of looking out on the horizon, I would, as soon as my feet would touch, I looked down. And it seems like I would freak out and I'd lift my feet up and on my ass I go. So
that sounds like exactly what happens. If you don't keep your eyes on that horizon, as soon as you look down, you lose your balance and fall. I totally understand. Anybody else in the chat have that happen to them? They forget to look at the horizon and they fall, or they butt land? Let me know in the super chat. Also, are there any questions in the chat or on our panel right now?
Not a question, but I wanted to mention, man, you said your first landing, right, was on your feet, right?
No.
Was that your first landing on your feet? I thought I saw your video. I love your videos, by the way, because they're just little snippets of the most important parts. You know, so
that was my first one up. Well, I think my first two up here were on my. I ended up going down on a knee, and then after that, I think my third one, I don't even think I got out of the seat. I just came right in and plowed into the ground. So I don't know what happened there. Just went blank.
Well, I can tell you that you mentioned that, you know, you thought maybe you'd be a little further along, or you're not where you want to be. You got 13 flights, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I can tell you, man, you're right where you're supposed to be. And that's a good place to be, because you're the most receptive, you know, to hearing different ideas and stuff. But I have landed without getting out of my seat, done that. My very first flight was on my feet, and the rest of them that day were they were on my knees or on my face. So could totally relate to that. Yeah, Bill H was wondering about your flight number 13, and he's asking if you checked out the speed bar yet or your trims.
I can't use my speed bar. I've butt landed so many times that I ripped the bottom where the speed bars go into my what is that, a sole I got, or a sup air? I got a sup air on that, but where the bottom of my harness connects to the cage, I ripped the stitching right out, and that also had the speed bar pulleys on it. So that happened when I broke the prop on my vacation part that we'll get to in a little bit, but I had that sewn back on. And my very next flight, after getting that fixed, I butt landed and ripped it out again. So I ended up calling Matt Minyard and see what he would do. And he said, just zip tie it. So I left them ripped off and I zip tied it. There we go.
So this says that this is your second landing at home after training.
Yeah, I might have messed them up. I was going off the dates that these were posted, but yeah, that looks about right. I would say that was.
So this is the one that you'd be coming in, and you said that you were looking at the horizon, then you looked down, and then you face planted. Is this the one you're talking about?
No, usually on those I butt land. So that one there, I just didn't run, it looks like. And that wing's oscillating, so it throws me off balance. So, man, the progression with the wing oscillations. So we'll rewind back to when I broke that prop and I put that helix on. So, you know, I got that helix on the very next day, we're going on vacation. So there's a beautiful place up in Michigan and I want to fly. Now this video here is right before I left too for that. That was the landing before I broke my prop the first time. So I was on cloud 9. That's why I got cocky and thought I could come in a high wind situation and do that no stepper landing, which I had no business even thinking about trying. But on this particular flight that you're watching, was probably my best flight. That was about 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Nice.
But the problem was I tied in backwards. So both risers on this flight were backwards. So my brakes, I don't know if you've ever done it, they pull kind of hard. But
Well,
I
that's
just
not bad
landed.
with your risers all the way, turn around opposite and you landed like that. That's pretty good.
And you can see the grassy area in front of you. So I took off to the north. So where I'm at, where you're watching is the north. And when I was gone, the wind switched 90 degrees on me. So that's why I had to land out in that cornfield. But yeah, that was the best landing that I got on film anyway. But man, I was such an awesome feeling. So now we're up north. We're going on vacation, and I went to this little place where we take off from, and I met a couple guys up there, and went with my family, and we were having dinner and having some drinks, and those guys showed up. So I went out and talked to them, and lo and behold, there sits Mike Cotter. So I'm pumped, and we start talking, and I'm showing him my videos, and he mentioned, I showed him that one where we just watched me land. He goes, boy, that wing looks like you moved coming in kind of fast. So he did mention that. And, we talked for probably an hour, and it was great talk. And he invited me to go flying with him in the next morning. So I decided, like, well, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And so I got up the next morning, grabbed the bang, and slammed that on the way to the LZ, and just to get me up and moving, because on vacation I like to sleep in. But so I get up, and we get there. It's hot, it's wet, and there's absolutely no wind. And we got set up, and I took off. Sorry about that. So I take off, and it was a great takeoff. It was my first nil wind launch with that wing, and there was a lot of heavy dew in the grass that morning. So the bottom of my wing was wet, but still my launch was good. Takeoff was good. I got airborne, and I'm checking out my risers, and I realized my right riser is 180 degrees out. And that brake pulled really hard compared to the other side. And I'm like, man, there's no way I'm going to go on, because we were going to do a cross country up the shoreline of Lake Michigan towards Ludington, I believe. So it was going to be a nice long flight. And I circled the LZ a couple of times. I'm like, I got to get down and get this fixed. So the LZ was pretty tight for a beginner pilot, but me being probably overconfident again, I'm like, well, no big deal. So it took me about 6 go-arounds before I could come in and land, because it was so tight. And I was coming in hot, and that right brake was pulling hard. So I'm like, screw it. I just lifted my legs and came in on my ass. But man, I tell you what, I skidded for probably 20 feet. That was a really hard, fast landing. And, it shook me pretty good. So I was a little bummed by that. I'm soaked because the grass was wet, and I didn't break anything because I shut the motor off. And Kyle told me, as long as you shut the motor off when you land, you'll probably never break it. So that happened. And yeah, so I get everything set up, and I don't know why I always have trouble clipping in and get it backwards like that, but that was the second time. So Mike showed me what they do, and it clicked, and I clipped in, and he verified everything was okay. And just from being rocked and everything being wet, and now my wing's totally soaked, and I'm sitting there with the motor running, getting ready to go. And I'm like, you know what, screw it. I shut the motor off, and I looked at Mike, and I'm like, I can't do it. I said, I'm not feeling it. So he wanted me to get back on that horse, and, he gave me a pep talk and told me everything was good. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, we're going to do it. So I get it fired back up, check my lines, everything's good. Took off, and I'm running. And I had to run a little longer because, everything was soaked. But lo and behold, off the ground I go. Everything was good. And I got about treetop height. I just rocked back in my seat, and I heard something go through the prop. So I immediately killed the engine and being at the altitude I was, which was really low, the wings surged forward. I grabbed brake and then put my hands back up because I knew I had to have speed. But and prior to this flight, I didn't add. But Mike and I talked about having an out if something were to happen. So, you know, I had to make a right-hand turn from where I was at, and we talked about that in our pre-flight briefing, and that worked out perfect, except for like again, I blacked out and came in, and another hard landing, and my wing came over top and landed in a tree. And of course, yeah, there I sat with everything all busted up. So we went through my footage of, because Mike recorded my takeoffs, and you could see my phone dangling. My phone actually was on a tether, and I had it in the left-hand pocket, zipped up, at least on the first flight. So that first butt landing must have jarred the zipper loose, and it was something I overlooked. And I didn't look at it in my pre-flight for the second time. And yeah, you could see the phone dangling as I was running on that second takeoff. And yeah, went right through the prop, and that was the end of that. But the crappy part was, so that's really only my second flight, or two in a row, where I broke a prop. And that was another hard landing, and I was pretty worked up over that one, sweating, and my heart's just pounding because there's just so much going on, and I was green, and it's just it was a lot for me. So yeah, so I don't know what it's been, but ever since that time, then the anxiety set in. So I just question everything now, and I had some really nice days to fly after I got everything fixed and went. I mean, I knew I was going to fly that night, and this is the one here. I don't know if this was the first or second. We'll see here in a second.
This says first takeoff.
Okay, so this was my first one, and everything was good, except I clipped that riser in wrong on the right-hand side, and you can see it there. And with the takeoff, everything was fine. But what I should have done, and I thought about it while I was in the air, instead of coming, you see the power line right there? So that LZ was pretty tight. And I thought about just heading out towards the lake. And then there's a giant sand dunes out there, but they're state owned, and it's a state park. So I know you're not supposed to fly out of there. So that's why I didn't go out there where I had all the room in the world to land. It would have been soft. I wouldn't have had that tight LZ. And I think if I'd have done that, everything might have been okay. I don't know, but I wish I would have now. But yeah. So is this this is the second one here. If you look at my left-hand side, you can see that phone dangling on that tether.
Oh yeah.
Right there. And I had to run. I was running hard, but pulled some brake and up I went.
Wow.
And it was beautiful, but right treetop level, you could hear it.
Yeah, you really can hear it when you got the volume, and you can actually hear the prop strike.
Yeah, but once again, I wasn't hurt. I was sore. My neck was sore, and my back was sore after that second hard landing there, and that was on my butt too.
So what are we watching? We're watching you take off right here, right?
Yep.
You take off, it cracks your prop, and now you
No,
land?
I'm still going up. Right about there is where it hit the prop.
And now
So
you went down.
Yep. So in that situation, you guys tell me, if you hear something go through your prop, should you immediately kill your engine, or should I have tried to see if I could fly out of that?
Well, let's see. Where are you headed? Let's see what's in front of you. I mean, right there, you don't have much room for oopses. I mean,
No,
you're going
right.
you're going like right over trees, and now it looks like
I made a hard right turn.
That's
what we talked about, because I had a wide open, nice, short, grassy area there to land.
Yeah, so you just don't have any oops room. I mean, you don't have any, well, let's keep on trying to fly straight and see what's going on. How much was the prop broken? It just really depends on how much vibration you got too.
Yeah, I never even gave it a chance to see if I had any vibrations, because as soon as I heard something hit that prop, I hit the kill button. And when I did that, that's when everything surged forward, and I tried to give it a little break to control the surge. And then I knew I had to get my hands back up to try to build speed for the flare. But like I say, as soon as my hands went up, everything kind of went blank. So I don't know if I pulled much brake or not, but I went into the ground pretty hard. And I think I might have hit the ground and bounced back up and then came down again. I'm not sure, but it was a pretty violent hit.
It looks pretty
It looked
violent.
like you had a little flare there.
Yeah.
If you replay that last part.
And it's really hard also to tell, what we would do under a certain situation, because we were not the pilot in command. I couldn't really tell how much room you had to turn, what was in front of you. I mean, if you didn't land right there, were you going to hit a tree? So it's really hard to tell what your particular situation was in this. Obviously, it looks like there's just not enough room for a newer pilot to be able to get up without any oopses. Anything could happen. A motor could have went out. There could have been a bubble in your, in your line, and your motor could have went out. Something clipped your prop, which did. And then you went down. So this is a good lesson, for everybody. Make sure that you have enough runway and enough room for anything that could oops, to make sure you could come right back down and land safely. Anybody on the panel have anything that they want to say about that particular incident?
Monday morning quarterback, what that's called. It's easy to say, oh, I would have done this, and you should have, brought it back around and swooped it in, but
So just to go back on that is my 8th flight right there. Or
You're
actually, I
good,
think
dude.
that might have been number 9. So I really had no business being there, but I was so damn confident that, I could do it. And, maybe I would have if that wouldn't happen. And I would have came back. It probably would have been a successful flight. And I don't know how my landing would have been, but, had that prop or that phone not go through my prop, I think we would have had a great flight. And so I don't know, like I say.
Did you
I
say
think-
you're a fixed wing pilot?
I was, yes.
Yeah.
But
Do you
that was
think
20 years ago, so it's been a while.
You think that played into your confidence?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I was good at that, or at least I thought I was. But I don't know. I soloed early, and everything was good. I just never had an issue. And anything mechanical and dirt bikes, anything fast, I've always been real good at doing. So, but like I say, that crash right there really that left a mark in my head. I didn't really physically hurt me. I was a little beat up and sore, but I was felt like a first day of double sessions in football practice in high school. If you guys ever done that, I just took a whack.
Resurgence PPG in the chat, he's saying, let Sean know there were 2 fairways to the right where he turned. With that right turn, he had tons of room. I've flown there, is what Todd said.
Yep.
So it was a golf course.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Paramotor Steve, question for Shane. Did you end up being in any of Kylo's videos?
Yeah, actually, I don't know which one it was, but there was none of me flying, of course, but there was just a picture of me and my truck sitting at the field when he was flying that free ride, a black free ride, I think he went ditch jumping that day. So
There are a couple other mentions in the chat. Paraninja said that you handled it well.
I think so too.
Yeah, I do too. Kudos to you too. I mean, man, the way you're recording, having someone recording your launches, and you'll learn a ton of ways to improve your launches and your landing.
I don't know where the Barney Rubble swinging arm stuff come from in these 2 takeoffs, but I didn't do that in my other ones. So I don't know what that was all about, but Mike, we did a debrief on these 2 flights, and Mike mentioned that I need to let the wing fly on those takeoffs. I was getting pretty deep in the brakes. That's just kind of how I've always done it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but so after I got everything fixed and got back home, the very next flight was a pretty no wind night, and it was hot, really hot. And all I can think about is Mike and I's conversation, let the wing fly. So I left my hands all the way up, and man, let me tell you, I'm in the throttle, I'm running. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die and land on my face. So I don't know if I gave a little bit of brake or not, but my feet just left the ground. And just as I get a sigh of relief, I'm coming back down. I'm like, oh man. So I had to start running again. And I don't know how, but I got in the air and flew around. And all I could think about was, man, I just should have pulled a little, do it like I normally did, and I would have been okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was my first one. That was with Kyle on that Universal. So I don't know if I just didn't run. It didn't look like I pulled any brake. Because one thing that was in my mind with that, maybe I did.
Yeah, it looks like you pulled brake.
But I don't know. I think maybe I got too low, or I was veering to the left.
Well, it looks like there's like no wind also with that.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Because right here, there's like no wind
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
windsock right there.
Yeah, there was nothing.
So you coming in, your first paramotor landing with no wind, that's really honest to be expected. But look, you
Okay.
flared, you got up there, you just lost your balance and fell forward.
Yep. Because I was veering to the left, and I noticed whenever I got any oscillations going, I lose my balance and end up falling or on my butt. It's just a natural reaction. One thing that I did do after, and I talked to Kyle and, get his input on what I need to do. And he just said, I got to concentrate on what I'm doing. And in those flights, I did that. And even that one after telling you about where I barely got off the ground, as long as I concentrate on what I'm doing, get out of the seat early, and I'm not oscillating, and concentrate on that landing, I stick it. So
yeah, that's that universal that you used, right? So that one looked like you were coming in kind of hot. Do you remember what your trim setting was by any chance?
nope.
Okay.
I never touched it, and whatever it was set at when I took off is what it was. And I knew nothing. I didn't even think about looking at it. And
Right.
yeah, I have no idea.
Okay. It looks like this is your first paramotor solo takeoff in Michigan.
Yes. That went good.
So when you say solo, you're basically there making the decisions for yourself whether to go or not? Or is
Yep.
it just your flight?
This
No,
is
this was my
your
first flight in Michigan.
flight by yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Do you have Kylo in your ear? Is that what going? No, or who do you have
No,
in your
not
ear right
here.
now? Okay, so
No.
this is after training coming back to Michigan.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have anybody in your ear as far as like helping you do your reverse or anything, or is this
No.
is all you?
Nobody has any experience with this, and it's just all me on my own.
Can be a spooky feeling.
Ah,
So
That's-
how many flights did you have at school? So what flight would this be? What number?
This would be number 2.
Oh, so you only had one flight in school?
One flight in school, the weather just was not there. There was
Okay.
one night Kyle said I could have flew, it would have been safe, but he goes, it'll be bumpy because you looked across the way there where the trees were, and the leaves were really whipping. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call it good. And we waited a couple more days, and I never got another opportunity. The weather just was not there.
This
too
one
windy.
was
Nice
really
reverse.
this one was really good. I mean, this was a great reverse.
I really like reversing, and then even in this one, I don't think the wind was quite strong enough to do it, but I found I can do a reverse with very little wind. That wing comes up so easy, and I can do a quick turn and go.
Yeah, you built a nice wall.
No.
You built a nice wall. You built a nice wall. You built a nice
Yeah, because the wind kind of died on me right there. So
You
it's kind of
pulled it,
waiting.
the wing went straight up above your head. You brake checked it. You walked backwards.
It was under control.
Totally under control. The whole thing was very, very good.
So a question
That
for
was a
you
good launch.
experienced guys. One thing I don't do, and I know there's a couple other guys that I've met and have the same thing. I run way more than I need to. I am very, very slow on the throttle. But for one, I want to make sure the wing's under control. But I would like to get on the throttle sooner, but I got this thing in my head where if I get on the throttle right away and go wide open, that it's going to push me on my face. Maybe that's just some experience I need to gain. I don't know, but I do taxi more than I think I need to.
Well, I think that, you know, once you get that wing under control, right? It's under control because remember, if you're doing a forward inflation or reverse, you're just kiting. Okay. So if you're able to do that forward inflation, right? It's above your head, right? And you start going. Once it's above your head and you know it's stable, you can just roll on that power as long as you have that posture. You know, it's like throw that posture back. Once you got that posture, you know, you got that pressure, you know, you got that power, and you can, you know, just roll on it. I have one of my students feels the same way. I have to keep on telling him, just go full throttle. And he just rolls it on so slow and he just runs forever. I'm
Same
like,
with me. So that wing's not going to surge from that rapid acceleration. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about that wing coming back when I accelerate real fast. If I were to go full throttle,
that's why you have that little bit of pressure. You know, so you have that, so you have the wing above your head, right? So you got that pressure, you got your posture. As long as you got that pressure and that posture, you're on that throttle with that posture, and you're just going to be going like this. You have a lot less steps. But it does take time to feel what that Moster 185 does. You know, it does take time because you could trip. You know, so I mean, what you're doing is good. You are going slow. You are taking your time. You do it. That was amazing. You had that perfectly under control. So just as you progress, just feel feel that pressure, feel that posture. And as you roll in power, just roll a little bit more than you normally do. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, I think that was that was really a good video. Anybody in the panel have any questions for Shane, or anybody in the chat have any questions? I think that was really good. And, you know, everybody learns differently. You have a 26-meter wing and you're 250 pounds, which is a lot different than me being about 220 pounds with the Moster 185 and a 28-meter wing. You know, I can usually take off pretty good in nil wind because I have such a big wing and a good motor and a lighter all-up weight.
You know, that was something I thought about too. I thought about maybe getting with Mike and going up to his school for a day or so and trying just a big wing to see what that's like. See if maybe, I don't know, maybe I just need to concentrate on what I'm doing and practice with my wing and practice. And instead of going for a 45-minute flight every time I get in the air, just do touch and goes. I think that's what I really need to do. And I got to get myself to do it.
Yeah, touch and goes it'll help you learn so much quicker than just doing one flight every time you go out.
Well, and another thing with the one flight stuff, so like after the mishap at the golf course there, when I got home and I'd be waiting, I'm like, oh, it's a perfect day. I can't wait. I'm going to go flying tonight. The wind's going to be perfect. And my stomach would just get torn in knots. And I would go to the airport and not fly. So it took me over a week to finally go. And there was a couple pilots that I met over at the airport. And the one day I wasn't feeling it. And he's like, well, just get your wing out, put your motor on and just motor kite. And that's something I had never done. And the conditions that night were perfect. We had a laminar 4-mile-an-hour head wind, just absolutely perfect. And I'd motor kited a couple different times, but I just couldn't squeeze that throttle and take off. And it took me a while to get over that. And I'm still got that anxiety. I got to get rid of that. And it's not normally it's not me. So
no, but it's normal. I mean, that is a real common thing. That should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? That's not uncommon, you know.
So, and I had a beautiful flight. Mike Cotter has a fly-in that he does up in Saranac, Michigan. So I'm going to go to this thing. So I went a couple days before. I had a really nice flight. I concentrated on my landing, landed perfect. All's good. I'm pumped up. I get a trailer. I get up there, and I just froze. Met some really nice people, but I went to a fly-in and didn't fly, and I'm so pissed at myself because once again, you couldn't ask for better conditions. I'm out there in my barefoot and shorts, just running, and it's the softest grass you've ever been in. And man, I'm just so pissed at myself that I didn't fly. It was perfect, and I didn't. I only had one night because my wife and I were going on vacation the next day, but I want that one back. I really do. But
there's
like
lots of time during the summer to fly. And if you ever come down this way, you know, I'm actually between you and Kyle. So you can come down here. I got plenty of wings. You can try all the 28-meter wings that we have because I got a bunch, and you can fly with me anytime that you want to. Looks like we got a bunch of questions in the chat. I didn't see this, but a lot of people have been commenting in here. We have Slow Days, Will Fly, Walter, Eric, Resurgence PPG, Bill H, Mad Sloper, John Wayne, Mickey, Alberto, Paramotor Steve, Tommy Sutherland. And remember, we're going to be giving away a free 3D printed chase cam. So make sure you say hello to Will Fly in the chat and make sure you get on the spinning wheel of winning things. Somebody was saying, let's see, James said 250 plus 75 motor equals 325. What's the wing rating on that 26 meter? Do you remember the wing rating on that, Shane? And
160 in the advanced category is the max weight.
What, I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry, what?
160 kg.
160 kilograms. What is
Yep.
that in pounds? Who has a Siri?
There's another thing I got to factor in that I like to cheat on, and that's that 250 pounds is underwear weight. I jumped on the scale the other day at work, and I was like 262 with my boots.
253.
How much is it?
253 pounds.
So 253 pounds is your max weight. That's the advanced level, or that's the max weight before the advanced?
No, it's so up to 135 is intermediate, and up to 160 is the max. So from 135 to 160. 135 to 160 is the advanced category.
Okay, so 160 is how much did you say it was, Will?
253. I believe it's
253 pounds max weight?
That
Yes.
can't be right.
Let me
Is it?
just ask her again. What were there? Was 100 and how many kilograms?
160 kilograms in pounds. Should be 160 times 2.2.
350, 274.
353.
353. Okay, that
Yep.
sounds a lot better. So 353 is your max weight, and we also got to remember too that gas is about 6 pounds, and if you do almost 3 gallons, right? 11 or 12 liters.
Yep. So flying at gross
another-
weight like that, what?
That's another 18 to 20 pounds right there, not including your clothes that you put on. So if you're 250 or 260 plus your motor, maybe 70, right? Plus your gas and clothing. Do you have a reserve also?
No, not yet.
Okay. So gas is another 20-ish plus clothing-ish. So what, 260? You're right at the max. You are. I mean, you eat a big meal and you're at 253.
So what does that do though? I mean, I don't have any trouble taking off. I
No,
don't have any
it's-
trouble
it's-
flying the wing.
It's not that. It's not that, you know, anything bad's going to happen. What they do is they rate the wings to a certain level, right? So your maximum that you're on, that's the what is that? What is that called?
The
Your
advanced.
max. Your advance, okay? Now, I'm also, when I was bigger, I was also on the advanced side of my wing. So my wing went up to a certain size, and that's where it was rated, right? And then you have that advanced that you can go up to max. If you go over that max, all that's saying is that um, the rating says that if you have a collapse, it's going to be more difficult to come up, to open back up. If you are on let the trims out and you're on the A's, it's probably going to be very stable. But if it does collapse, it's going to be more difficult to open back up. It's not dangerous, but one of those things is that the extra weight, and I don't know how you fly if you're just flying straight and enjoying yourself, but any G's on that also are going to start stretching the lines out a little bit. Now, you did say that you had some lines fixed because you had some line breakage, right?
The sheathing, yes. The lines themselves were fine.
And
But
the sheathing broke. So you sent it in and had what, the $100 checkup?
I didn't have her do that. She just did basically a quick overall or once over on the wing. She did check all the lines. I sent it to Lines in a Day, so Michelle had it. So she checked everything out and did an inspection on not a certified inspection on the wing, but just kind of a quick once over.
Okay.
And didn't find any issues other than those 3 lines.
Okay. When you get your yearly inspection done, what they usually will do is they'll go through everything and actually do a line snap on one of your A's. So they'll take off one of your A's and they'll pull it in a machine until it snaps, and they'll tell you how many pounds of pressure that has, and then they will replace that. That's part of the $175 for your yearly maintenance. They check for the porosity and other things like that. And one of the things also too is the line length. So they check the line length. A lot of times the lines will actually stretch a little bit. If they only stretch like half an inch or an inch, that can cause a lot of different malformities when you're flying, different characteristics. Like one side will go down, or it'll be difficult for it to come up when you do a forward inflation. So it's always good to have a yearly, especially if you're heavy on it or you do acro. In 2019, I bought a brand new Roadster 3. It was a 28 meter. I did about 300 hours on that wing for that year, including 2 SIV courses. And when I sent it in, it failed. It failed. All the lines failed because they were stretched so far because of the SIVs, the acro, and everything else. So even though it was a brand new 2019 wing, it failed. I mean, it still looked crisp. It looked brand new. It never went in the water, but it failed. So it's always good to make sure that you get your wing checked. I think you're fine with 13 flights. You haven't had it that very long. I don't think that anything's going to happen. You're on the heavy side, the advanced side. All that means it's going to be more dynamic. So where, like on a 28 meter with me, I'd probably pull a foot and it'll start to turn. On yours with a 26 meter, and you being a little bit heavier on it on the advanced side, you probably pulling half a foot would probably turn it as quick as me pulling a whole foot. So it's a little bit more carvier, coming in maybe a little bit hotter too. But you did say that you pull the trims in when you come in for a landing, right?
Yeah, I've never touched the trimmers. They've always been all the way in. And that's another thing I want to touch on that I did notice. And I specifically on my last flight took note. So I don't get any brake response until I'm about my shoulder levels before I get anything out of them. So,
okay. So one thing that you can do, and this is what I've told my students too, is that when you come in for a landing, so just pretend that this is, your brake line, right? And you have like a lot of, extra space, right? Is that what you're saying? You have like, this much, room to maneuver, before you
well,
actually
that's like I got to
feel it?
pull down to my shoulders just to get the slack out of the lines
Okay.
before they start.
So what you can do is you can take it like this and wrap it, making sure you don't, have your throttle cable in it. So if you wrap it one time like this little bit of wrap here will give you 8 inches of extra pull.
So how do you do that on the throttle hand? Because I would like to try that.
So I don't have my fake throttle, but all you do is you have a throttle, right? And if you cut your power like you normally do when you come in for landing, it's no big deal. But you can just practice with your throttle and a line like this and try to figure out how you're going to wrap it. What I do is I wrap it between these 3 fingers. Okay. So I wrap it like that. So when I wrap it, I still have control of my throttle and my brake, but that gives you an extra 8 inches. And I always come in with a wrap. If I know that I'm going to be coming in, I just do a quick wrap. You
I
know?
would love to try that, man. If I could get
I-
some more brake authority.
And that gives you a lot more brake authority. I'm the same way. It's like I need to pull this much down just to feel, you know, some tension on it. And when I bring it all the way down to flare, I still feel like I'm missing some flare. So since I've been doing this number, right, which gives you almost 8 inches extra pull, I haven't had any problems coming in for landing. I used to do the butt landings like you did, sliding like you did, but as soon as I learned that wrap, because after a wrap, it's like it's right up to the pulleys. So since it's right up to the pulleys, now I have this much to slow me down in the air. I slow down. I pull all the way down like this, and I can just slow down and just step. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
see, my wing will not balloon me back up if I hammer down on them brakes. It just don't. I never go back up. I see a lot of people do that when they're coming in, and it might mess up their flare timing or pull too quick, but I have never had that happen. So I would love to have a little more authority on them. I think that might help me out. I don't know.
That will probably help. An extra, I mean, all of us need an extra 8 inches.
That's what she said.
Exactly. So yeah, it always seems to work out, and having that extra bit, that means that you don't have to, you know, tie your brake line up higher and possibly messing it up if you ever get to the point of letting the trims out and pushing speed bar, because where they are right now, you have to have that much room to let all the trims out and push speed bar, because you let the trims out, you pull the speed bar, and you're pulling those A's down for that angle of attack. And if your brakes, if you tie them up an extra couple inches, if you ever get to that point and put speed bar in and forget that you tied them down, as soon as you pull speed bar, that's going up like this, and it's actually deforming your trailing edge of your wing, which means it's going to collapse as soon as you push speed bar. So you have to be very, very careful if you ever decide to tie your brakes up higher. I would say don't tie your brakes up higher. Take that wrap, learn how to take that wrap up there. You get an extra 8 inches of flare. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned something else too, and yeah, like Shane said, don't mess with shortening your brakes without get someone who's got some experience, like your instructor, and he definitely help you out with that. I did have to shorten my brakes, but I got feedback before I did it. I didn't just willy nilly do it.
I go into another short story about that's another thing with. I thought it was going to be on Kyle's training was awesome, but having one flight really killed me. And I thought that would be enough, but I would have been nicer to have a few more. I ran into one of Mike Cotter's students at one of my daughter's softball games. I saw a guy out kiting the wings. So I went over and talked to him and introduced myself, and we were both talking a little bit. And then I asked him how many flights he got in his training. He said 25. And I'm just like, holy smokes. So,
Yeah.
And the problem with being 900 miles away is I can't jump in my truck and just go see Kyle to get some extra training. So all the new people out there that I would definitely or haven't had training yet, that is something really, I think, important to consider, is having that support close.
Well, let me ask you, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in Michigan.
In Michigan. So
2 hours from Mike's school.
Okay, 2 hours from my school. But are there like a local group there that get together often or fly together? Or?
No, not really. There is a guy. I've met 2 people at my local airport that fly, and it's every once in a while, but we never seem to be able to hook up and fly together. So, yeah, still pretty much on my own for right now. So,
So this is what I wanted to show you right here. I'm foot dragging, right? I haven't wrapped, but still I have enough flare authority because I wanted to double check because I'm checking to see if I took a wrap and I didn't on this one. But look how far I'm pulling down right there. So I'm slowing myself down, foot dragging, and then all I do is pull down to flare and I'm walking.
That's awesome.
So when you do a wrap, you actually stop quicker. So this was over at the sod farm. I've got so many hours, thank goodness, over at the sod farm, doing all sorts of cool things, foot dragging, doing this. So I pulled the trims all the way in, and after I learned how to do the wrap, I actually stopped quicker than this. And you can see how quickly you can stop by just doing a foot drag. And this is one of the chase cams that I have. And you just pull the brake and you're walking. No issues on your back, on your knees, and I can't even imagine coming in for a regular landing like other people do. I haven't done that such in years. This is how I always come in, with just foot dragging, pulling the brake, especially now with that wrap, and I just come in and stop. It's great.
I don't have any aches or pains. My legs are strong. Everything feels good. So I've never been dumped, so I don't really feel bad about that. It's just a matter of keeping my balance and concentrate on what I'm doing and getting my chest forward as far as I can on them landings. And man, they've been great. But like I say, there's never seemed to be any pounding. And even them first couple steps, the wing's taking all the weight. So it's just like the last two when you stopped it, I've got the weight on me. So it's like I say, I just so much to learn. And I just want to get it done. But here's another thing, I got wide open fields right now, but I just don't think, or I would enjoy it or feel comfortable having all that extra gear on to try to fly in these cold conditions. I would rather wait at this stage anyway, and wait for those warmer conditions where I can go out there in jeans and maybe some light gloves and a flannel and then go.
You come over and see me. I mean, I'm right down the road from you.
I wish I could.
You can still kite, Shane, and just keep your skills fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do that. I love kiting. So
you have a good kiting harness?
Yeah, Kyle, I bought one of his ones that we trained in.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've noticed, man, it takes a lot of wind for me we're 10 to 15 to get some really good kiting in. I think
10 to 15. Are you sure it's that high?
Well, according to the weather forecast.
Is that like a windy thing, or how do you find out? Because
yeah.
over 10 miles an hour, it gets pretty difficult to kite. You could be picked up and taken away at between 10 and 12. At that 12 gust, you could be taken away.
No, I did have that happen. I got pulled into the field a couple times.
Well, that doesn't sound fun at all.
I don't mind it, but I did knock the corn over. But I got a good laminar wind. If it's strong, then I can do like the cobras and stuff. I mean, it seems to take a lot of wind to get that thing where I can sit there and have good control of it. I don't know.
Gotcha. All right. So 818094, which used to be JP. I don't know why you changed it. Why did you change your name to a bunch of numbers?
Oh no, it kicked me off. I didn't.
675-309.
I know. JP is going to do a quick screenshot of us. So we're going to give us the thumbs up, the smiles, the giggles. Har, 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 har.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Paramotor.
Perfect.
My lips are so chapped from being out all day long with the students. I mean, it's like sun up to sundown. It's like, it's so chapped. It's ridiculous. Then we went out for Buffalo Wild Wings. Woo.
Yeah. One of my favorites.
Hey, let me show you guys a little something about this is what happens when you say paramotor and not cheese.
Okay, let's not do paramotor because I look like I just
That's I got you mid P.
I look like I pooped myself. It's like, look at that, Grandpa. He done pooped himself. All right, let's go ahead and try that again. Let's not do paramotor no more. Let's all right. Maybe there was a reason why it says cheese.
Hey, can I give a shout out to my buddy Darren Locklear at
Carolina PPG, right?
What's up?
Are you doing another one?
I hope so, because it looked like I pooped myself.
No, I always take multiples, and I got a good one out of it. So we're good.
Good. I feel better now.
Excellent. Shane, appreciate you coming on, dude.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I definitely learned something from this, and I can't wait to get out and try it.
Absolutely.
I know that JP, you got to go, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. By you guys don't have to stop, but I gotta run. I'm sending the screenshot now.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us, JP, or 8675309, whatever your name is.
Always a pleasure.
Go Bengals, baby.
Yeah, the Bengals. You guys see that? We're going to the Super Bowl.
I did. That was so good.
I don't.
I wanted them to go to the Super Bowl.
When I say
Ohio
we,
first, it's something.
Yeah, when I say we, it's because I'm a longtime follower. I've been following them for 2 weeks now. So
Isn't that like a girl band or something? The Bengals?
probably.
Bengals. Those Bengals going to Super Bowl, those Bengals.
All right, guys,
Tampa
take
Bay
care.
can do it, the
Pleasure.
Bengals
I'm sure I'll see you throughout the week. All right, guys.
All right. Catch you later. Thanks for joining us, bud.
Bye.
All right. So we're going to be also spinning for a free 3D printed chase cam. I've been printing up different chase cams. I got that. I also got a nice Millennium Falcon. It actually flies if you throw it, but then it falls. We got the white chase cam. So we got white, and I just printed out a new one today. And this new one has wings. So as it is going behind you, it actually flies. It has 2 wings and a stabilizer on the top and the bottom. It's a little bit smaller than a regular size chase cam. So I've just been experimenting with this 3D printer. And like I was telling these guys, I also printed out a digital sundial. So it actually shows you a digital display of what time it is. Amazing.
With the seconds?
Not the seconds, no. It's not that good. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you guys want a free chase cam, let Will know. Let us know in the chat real quick, and we will put you in the spinny wheel of winning things and get you one of these out in the mail. Who else do we have in here? We still got Resurgence PPG, Eric, PPGlear.com, Paramotor Steve, Mad Sloper, JP Tool, Yankee Paramotor, Para Ninja, Bill H, Mad Sloper again, Darren Locklear, James, Stephen Goodpaster. Oh, cool. What's up, Stephen? Walter, Angela Preslick. Oh, Angela, I still got your t-shirts. They're in the car. I just have to wait until tomorrow on payday to send them out. So my fault. I'm sorry. And also to who else? I owe somebody else a t-shirt. Who was that? You know who you are. It's still in my car. I gotta wait till tomorrow to send it out. So sorry about that.
You are. It's still in my car.
What's that?
You know who you are. It's still in my car.
You know who you are. Paramotor Girl, Slow Days, John Wayne, Tommy Sutherland, Yankee Paramotor. I think I said that. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, I'm not collecting any money today, but there is a donation thing on the bottom for paralyzed disabled veterans. It goes straight to them. It's a fundraiser tonight. It's not for me. I don't see any of the money. It goes straight to them. If you want to donate, it's okay. I just put the thing on there. I'm a disabled veteran. I don't know if you guys know or not, but back in 2017, I had open heart surgery to fix some valves and some other things on my heart. The VA took care of it. Thank you, VA. I love you guys. Thank God. I was in the Marine Corps. And there's a complication where I had a stroke. So that was at the end of 2017. And that's when I learned all about paramotors, or I knew that's what I wanted to do. Wasn't able to. All of 2018, I had this feeding tube. I mean, I was a no good at all. And I think what actually helped me get better was knowing that I'm going to be able to fly paramotors, meet up with all you guys. Nick Griffith, that's who it is. Nick Griffiths. I just saw your name. Sorry. You are the other person that I owe a t-shirt to. Also, Mickey Alberto was on here too. But anyways, I think that paramotors saved my life. You guys, every Monday, you save my life. I mean, I'm here. I do this show, but it's really to hang out with you, and I really appreciate everyone out there. Resurgence PPG. I go to smile.amazon.com and I make sure that my donations go to Resurgence. If you don't know about that, you can go to smile.amazon.com, and a little bit of money that you don't have to pay, Amazon does, they send it over to Resurgence PPG. It's a really good program. Anyway, any other questions for Shane before we spin the spinning wheel of Winnie things?
Thank you, Sean, for your service.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Shane, for coming on the show.
And thank
Well,
you, Shane.
thanks for having me. I don't know.
We're not going away anytime soon. We're just going to spin. And how much time do you have, Shane? I forgot to ask you before the show how much time you have.
I'm good. So whatever you want to do.
Okay. Maybe we'll hang out until 9 o'clock after we spin and see who wins. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Sounds awesome. All right. So I guess make sure that your name is on here. If you don't see your name on here, then let us know. We'll give you 60 seconds.
Oh, I see a mistake.
Uh-oh. Walter gets it twice?
Twice.
Oh, no.
Actually, you know, I think Walter done got everything that he ever needs to win from us.
Yeah, I think so.
I had to second mortgage my home just to send him all of his stuff that he won from us last year. We definitely appreciate everyone that has helped with this channel and donations. We do have iloveppg.com. That is our merch. And anything that we get, that's what we get to use to send out fun things to you guys. So we appreciate anything that you buy from our merch store, and also to any donations that are normally to the show, but right now it's set to the fundraiser and not to me. But we definitely appreciate everything that you guys do. And I think one of the things that I can do in here also is do a commercial break. Is that still in here where I can do a commercial break? I don't see it. Anyway, I guess we won't commercial break it. Or is that it right there? Oh, there is. I can actually do a commercial break. All right. So we're going to go to commercial break real quick. It's only going to be 30 seconds. Hit your refresh button. Okay. So that way we're all on the same page. We can do the spinning wheel of Winnie thing. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right. So in about 30 seconds or a minute, we're going to be back, and we are going to spin the wheel of spinning Winnie things. So what's really cool is that I'm able to put an ad in here, which helps with our revenue, and the revenue is what helps fund everything that we do. I mean, I don't know that you know this, but we use Zoom, and that costs a couple of $100, you know, a year. You know, we have our merchandise stuff, and that costs us money, and our podcast, that costs us money for every year. So I learned about what's that?
Tonight's donations are going to Resurgence. Is that what
Tonight's donations are going to disable paralyzed veterans. It's a fundraiser. If you go to the front of our show, you can see at the very bottom, if you go to the YouTube channel itself, underneath it says fundraiser. So our show tonight is dedicated to the fundraiser that I've chosen. And the one that I chose was veterans that were paralyzed.
I gotcha.
And since I kind of was I was kind of paralyzed, you know, thank God I'm not permanently paralyzed, but when you stroke out and you can't swallow, you can't talk, you can't
Yeah.
move your arms and your legs on one side. I mean, you can't eat because you can't swallow. I had to eat through a freaking tube. So, you know, it was not a fun year of 2018, but we made it through. And like I said, I think that
Look at you
paramotors
now.
paramotors saved my life, and I want to give back to the community as much as I can. All right, so I think that we got everybody here. We have 17 likes. We appreciate your likes. Got 23 people watching, and we'll fly whenever you want to. Would love to see who wins. See if you can spin it like for that whole minute. So you know,
You ready?
I'm ready when you are, bud.
All right, man. And shout
Yeah.
out to Resurgence PPG and Nick Griffith. I still owe you $11. Oh, Paramotor NC. Yeah, man.
NC.
Been one.
Paramotor NC. Check this out. So Paramotor NC, amazing guy. Check this out. I got this from Paramotor NC. He gave this to me for absolutely free. Looks like Will Fly has one also. Definitely appreciate you. Amazing guy. Do me a favor. I'm sure you got my cell phone number. Just go ahead and text me your address, and I'll send you out a chase cam if you want one. If you don't want one, you don't have to take it.
You must take it. Congratulations, Ben.
Ben's a great guy. All right, so it is 8:21. We can continue to chat with Shane and just talk about paramotors. Or Shane, if you have any questions that you want to ask us and the people that are out there in paramotor world, we can, you know, maybe answer some questions that you might have.
All right, so I'm coming off a lull. I don't know when I'm gonna get another chance to go flying, but I'm gonna do some kiting in the meantime. I can do that when it's cold. That won't bother me. But yeah, it's been months since I've flown. What would you recommend a way of easing back into it? Just making sure the weather's perfect and going forward, or what's the progression should I take?
Who are you asking? Anybody on the panel?
Yeah, any of you guys or anybody watching?
Okay.
No?
Go ahead and anybody that's watching us, type in the super chat what you think he would need to do to get back on the horse. Watching your takeoffs, I think that you have the skills. You said that you were going to go out tonight or the other day, but you had to be called into work. So I mean, you were
Oh,
set
no,
up.
that was in the fall.
Oh, that was in the fall. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So the last time that you flown was
September 6th.
September, October, November, December, January, February, 4 to 5 months.
So we're probably looking, I would say into March before I probably get where the weather breaks enough for me to go.
Wow.
And that's a hell of a long time, I think, to be off. But I mean, I'm confident. And
with 13 flights, I think that if you keep up your kiting skills, I wish that you were able to come down here and hang out with me. I think it'd be no problem. I mean, we could buzz around all day long in March, whenever you're ready to do it. If you want to come down here, you can. You should have pilots around in your area. If you haven't already, go to ppgzone.com. It's a Facebook for paramotor pilots. And
yeah, that's the one Josh puts on, right?
Yes, Josh does that.
Yep, I'm on it.
Oh, you are on it. Okay, so you know that there's that map, and
Yep.
it shows the map and shows all the pilots that are on PPG Zone that are around in your area. So you can click them and say, "Hey, I'm a pilot that's near you. When do you go out? Where are your LZs? I need to get out and get some airtime." So that might be something that you could do.
And I'm really close to, was it Toledo Flyers?
Mm-hmm.
I know they had some videos. I've seen them, but I'm real close to where they're at too. So there is a lot of people, I guess, in the area I just haven't reached out to. But one thing I would like to say too about including yourself, inviting me to come down. But Mike Cotter's invited me to come up and fly. Matt Minyard's invited me to come down there and fly with him. It's just it's overwhelming to have all these offers for people that don't have any skin in the game with me. But
But we do. We want you to succeed. I mean, that's what we really do care about each other. And you've been to a fly-in, right? So I mean, how people treat each other.
Now that gave me hope. There's a gentleman at camp next to me, and I'm 48. I'll be 49 in May. But we got to talking, and he said he didn't get into the sport until he was 58, and he was now 63. But because I was always worried about how long I'm going to be able to do this. But I still think I can move like a gazelle. I can still do backflips and stuff. So I'm grossly overweight, but I am.
Wait a minute. Did you say you could do a backflip?
Yes, sir.
I want to see that.
No, I can't land on my feet, but I can get around without breaking my neck.
Are you going to any fly-ins in the future?
Thinking about
Paramotor girl wants to know.
I'm thinking about Bad Apples, if I can make that one work. Because that's, I think, about 12 hours. That's pretty doable. But I don't know if I want to go to that. And
you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I think everybody I know, I think everybody on the panel, I think everybody's going to go to Bad Apples. I mean, I think that's the one to go to. I mean, it's pretty darn close to you. I mean, close.
Georgia's not horrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
That's an easy drive.
It's not horrible. Is that a compliment?
Yeah,
it's not horrible. That was really, Sean hit the nail on the head. Just keep your kiting skills current. And when I first started, I did not start flying by myself after training. I drove 2.5 hours and would fly just to fly with somebody else. And so if that's what it takes, man, you will get your money's worth. The gas will pay for itself, and the training you'll get just by hanging out with other experienced pilots, especially if you got questions or you're a little unsure or whatever. So yeah, you'll be fine. And
going to a fly-in, you don't have to actually fly. I mean, the best part of going to a fly-in is hanging out with people. I mean, we can go out and fly anywhere. I mean, there's LZs everywhere around our house. I mean, you can go and find an LZ anywhere around your house. I mean, isn't there an airport that's pretty close to you that you can go to and launch from?
Yes.
Chicago O'Hare.
Oh, we got Betts Airport. It's a little grass strip right on the other side of the of town there. It's about 5 miles away.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been going. But now I've put planted my own LZ. So no matter which way the wind's blowing, I'll be able to take off. So
yeah, so you can fly anytime. So
yes.
Going to a fly-in is not really flying. I mean, flying is fun, of course, especially if you got some good air or something like that, and some, take off and go do the adventures, all over the place. Like go over at Bad Apples, it's not too far away, maybe a mile or so, and they got that big quarry. Oh man, that quarry is beautiful. Look at all the different places that you can go around Bad Apples, take off and go explore. That's what's fun. Get a group of people, go explore, come back, and now you have hours upon hours talking with other pilots, meeting people that you've seen on YouTube, watch their channels, and just hang out and have fun. I mean, I've had more fun at fly-ins. It's absolutely amazing. And I do want to say real quick, we do have a way of joining our channel here. And if you do join our channel, it's like $2.99 for a month. It does help support the channel as far as like the podcasting, the Zoom. It does cost us hundreds of dollars to do this, and it's all coming on my pocket. So thank you for everything that you guys do, including let's see, who do we have? John Wayne, he helps support the show. Brian Waller helps support the show. Kent Stanley helps support the show. And we got a couple other people. So thank you very much for you guys that are helping support the show too. But yeah, as far as when it comes to fly-ins, it's all about getting up with the people, hanging out with friends, meeting new pilots, and getting your address book in your phone just filled up with new pilots.
And I love to study takeoffs and landings too. So I could sit and watch it all day. I really could.
Also, too, usually during the day, if the wind is good, you got the kiting war. So you got people out there on the field that are doing the kiting and doing different things, and people that have different wings. The first time I saw like a single skin wing was over at a fly, and I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. Learn how to kite this, like that's gonna be my next wing is a single skin. That's so cool. So I mean, you get to see other motors, other ways of having trikes, because if you have a foot launch, machine, 9 times out of 10, you can bolt it onto something else like a retractor trike or something like that. So you can have a trike and a foot launch, and it only costs you what, 1,500? Is that what it is? About 1,500 for the retractor trike? I think that's what it is. So it's really neat seeing other people's machines, wings, their knowledge. It's just a learning place. I just love it. I really do.
And I won't lie to you, them trikes kind of scare me. And, I told you about the Oshkosh thing when I went years ago, watching them guys flip over. But when I got to that Mike's fly-in, the first guys that went were a couple trike guys, and one of them flipped over. He didn't have a whole lot of experience, but man, that thing scared me.
I flipped over. I'm still good. I butt landed. I face planted. I've turtled. You face planted. You turtled. You had a pretty big, massive crash, but you walked away. We're going so slow. Thank God we're going so slow. 25 miles an hour. I mean, it's like we're on a moped. So, as long as you got some good grass to land on and not going through trees, you're pretty good. And as far as learning trike, it's not that much of a difference. If once you get once you get the skill, foot launching, going from trike is really not that different, especially if you do like a retractor trike. Because with a retractor trike, you're still using your motor, your harness. You're used to that, right? So now you're just sitting down there like you're flying, okay? You still hold on to your A's like you normally would. You still go forward and kite the wing. It's a little bit different, but not that much. And you're still in your own machine. Now, when you actually get a real trike, like our friends up in Wisconsin, Jade and Eric, they have real trikes, and of course a bunch of other people have real trikes, and that's a complete machine. You can't take the motor off and go fly that foot launch. I mean, it's a solid machine. A lot of them have A assists, so it's a little bit more different than just bolting on a retractor trike. I think you should try it. I mean, not now, but later on, trikes are fun.
Honestly, if I had a trike, I think I would fly in the wintertime. But next year at this time, when hopefully I have a lot of experience, maybe that won't hold me back either. But like I say, for right now, having all that extra gear, extra clothes, the thick gloves, not being able to feel the wing, or maybe you can, I don't know. It just seems to me, big heavy gloves, trying to run everything. Like I say, I need to get everything in order first and get proficient on flying or our landing anyway. That's my biggest holdup is all the landings. Flying is fine. I don't know.
Flying is easy. You can once you're up in the air, flying is easy. It's that takeoff and landing. And like you said, doing what do you mean Yankee Paramotor trikes suck? No, they don't. They're awesome. I saw that pop up. Doing what you said as far as coming in, doing a touch and go. And the touch and go isn't like coming in, running really fast and keep on going. Coming in, keeping that wing above your head, rolling on power, and actually doing another takeoff. Now that's a good touch and go. Not just coming in, running, and keep on going like you have wheels on you. It has to be really, deliberate. Come in for a landing, flare, right? Keep that wing above your head, right? Keep on going forward into the wind, roll on your power. And you can really get those things dialed in, get your takeoffs and landings really dialed in like that.
At what point should I come in with the engine running to try to do that if I'm not 100% comfortable that I'm going to stick that landing? Because I sure as heck don't want to fall over with the throttle in my hand with the engine running and take a chance of my fist going into the dirt and mashing the throttle. I don't know.
Well, get yourself, if okay, you need a wide area. Is there any place around there that has like a good open field or a
All
sod
around
farm?
me.
Okay, so find something like that that there's no trees, right? That you can, take off. You can get up nice and high, cut off your motor at 500 feet, right? Try to come in and do spot landings, right? But when you come in, remember to look at that horizon, right? Run it out, turn around, kite the wing down for a perfect wall, right? And do that a couple times, because if you kite it down to a perfect wall, if you got enough wind, you can pull it back up, and go for another flight. You can easily take off your risers, put them down, and get set up again for another forward inflation if you don't have enough wind. So it's a quick way of landing, putting the wing down, and taking off again. Once you feel like you got that, as far as coming in, you know, walking it with the wing above your head, you should be okay. There's just so many ways to do it, and you just need a big open area. It's just time. It really is. Thank goodness that I had that sod farm. And no kidding, I spent at least 100 hours, a lot more than 100 hours, just foot dragging the sod farm. I mean, I'd foot drag it in an infinite loop for hours. I mean, I'd go do that for 2 hours. I almost wear down, not really because it's so big, but I would go through 5 gallons of gas doing that. I'd go through 5 gallons of gas, going up, cutting the motor, and coming down and spot landing. I would come in once I got that nailed down, come in and do touch and goes. I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours upon hours I have doing that stuff, but that has really got me to the point of being very proficient. Also, too, later on, sometime this year coming up, I would suggest maybe try to find a place that does an SIV course. What do you think about
Absolutely
that?
someday, but right now I probably couldn't land and get back to the land. I'd probably end up in the water just for them spot landing things. But yeah, that's just proficiency, and I need to make sure I do an extra takeoff and landing every time I fly. If I'd have done that, I'd have 26 right now. Just as simple as just take it off and maybe just do a lap around the patch and come back in real quick.
If you have really nice wind, then that is the way to do it. I mean, if you got a good laminar wind over 6, right? Preferably about 8. That way it's not too much, but it's just enough to be gentle, especially if it's good laminar at 8. It's amazing, right? So you come in, what I just saw something about we got $15 so far donated to the paralyzed veterans. So thank you so much, everyone that has donated. I appreciate that. That is really awesome. That just makes me feel good that I can't even imagine being paralyzed. And but anyway, thank you guys for helping donating. But anyways, I don't even remember what I was saying. What was I saying? I was so touched that I saw that $15 was donated.
Oh, you're talking about 8-mile-an-hour laminar
Oh yeah,
winds.
8 mile an hour. Okay, so we over at the sod farm, because it's completely open like that. We usually have really good laminar wind for a long time. So if you think about it, you got a nice 8-mile-an-hour laminar. You can do a nice reverse, right? You got that nice reverse. It's nice and stable. You turn around, nice and stable. Give it throttle. Watch your posture. Make sure you got that pressure, and then you go and take off. Now, when you come back around, you come back in and you land like this with your motor still on, right? It's all stable. Turn around. You're kiting it this way because it's still stable. And if it's still stable and you got it, turn around, make sure it's stable, posture, that pressure, roll on the power and take off. That is amazing right there when you got that good laminar wind.
What causes the wing surge on takeoffs where I see some people where it'll fall back and then come ahead? Is that not enough pressure?
Say that again.
So I've watched a lot of videos where some people will take off and get on the throttle quick and the wing will fall back and then it surges forward and then it goes back and just kind of bobbles back and forth. Is that from lack of pressure?
If you have pressure, if you roll on throttle, your wing is going to go back. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you let off of it, now you're going to slow down. So now you got that big pendulum effect, right? So now you got that surge going forward. Now they're probably brake checking it. and they're probably trying to run, and now it's falling back. Now they're giving it gas, so it's wobbling back and forth. The idea of taking off and having a good takeoff is to roll on power and keep that power. Once you got that power, just keep on going. Don't let off the power, because then you got that pendulum thing. You can go just like when you had that phone go through your prop, right? You pendulum forward and you went down.
Yep.
Same thing with taking off. If you give it gas and it goes back, now you let off. Now it's going to surge forward. Now you have to run even farther to get yourself back underneath that pendulum. Roll on power. You're just taking more steps than you need to.
You're
What do you
about
guys?
to be touched again?
What's that?
You're about to be touched again. Check out the chat.
Oh my God, $65? That is really awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Like I said, none of this money goes to me. That goes directly towards paralyzed veterans for this fundraiser. And season 3, episode 107 with Shane Wyman. This is a fundraiser. Everything on it is just a fundraiser for paralyzed veterans. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
Love, much love.
Very, very lots of love. Thank you. And that's what it's all about.
Yep.
You know, that's what it's all about. It's all about love.
I know, now I'm getting emotional, dang it.
Here we go.
Okay,
Here's some love. All right.
okay.
I started my school last year. Okay. So this is, I got a lot of students, which is really great. Amazing people. If you think that it's not difficult to get up before sunrise and you go to bed after sunset and you're out at the field all day long, if you don't think that you're sore everywhere, one of my students says that he was sore in his heel. I've never been sore in my heel, but he was sore in his heel. Anybody that needs training, if you want to come and train with me on a weekend that I have students, I will help you train for that day for free. If you're in this area, please come over and let me help you as much as I can on a day. I'll give you a whole day for free with other students. That way you can meet other students. You can use my gear. This is if you've never been to a school, or if you've been to school and you need some help because it's been a while since you've been up in the air. Come to me. My number is 501-747-3558. Text me and let me know. If you're a veteran, I'll get you up in the air. If you're a disabled veteran, I will get you up in the air. So that's my heart to you guys.
Really nice.
Very,
Yes,
very-
that's awesome.
oh,
Where are you at, Arkansas?
Yeah, Arkansas, we're in Conway, which is just north of Little Rock. The Conway Airport, it's a really nice airport. And we are up to $85 out of 100 that we have. And we have it set for 333 days left. We're at 85 out of 100. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. So we are we got a bunch of cool places that we get to train. The best place, the airport here has given us behind the fence. We have a code that we get into and a huge field that is just for paramotors and ultralights. So
Wow, that's cool.
we got really, really super lucky.
There was someone, James said, had a comment. He said, Shane, if it's in your budget to get a 28-meter universal 1.1 used, it might help you ease back into the sport after months being off, mainly since you're on the high side of an advanced weight on your current weight.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But like the only thing that has me go the other way is, like, I know if I do everything right, there's never been an issue taking off nor flying. It's just controlling the oscillations. And if I can do that and concentrate on getting my chest out, shutting the motor off, and coming in, I'm golden. And I think I just need to practice that. But then again, maybe if I was on a bigger wing and came in a little slower, maybe it'd be easier. I don't know.
I really think with your weight at 250 or 260, depending on how well you eat that week, you said, with a 26-meter wing. That is kind of small. I mean, I went up on a 21-meter, and it was so touchy. I mean, just barely pulling on the brakes, and it's just carving like this. I can't imagine
No, my wing is not like that at all. It's,
a
I
26.
actually wish it would turn a little quicker.
Well, you have
Or maybe I'm not pulling enough brake. I don't know.
you have tip steering, right?
Yes, but I've never touched that either.
Okay, with your extra weight, it probably feels like my 28-meter when I have my trike. When I have my trike and I'm fully clothed and I got the gas fully, my 5-gallon tank, and I take off, I feel heavy. It takes a lot to do any of this right here. I have to pull hard, and when I do, it just feels like I'm so heavy. I
That's what I
need
get.
I probably need a 30-meter wing if I have the trike on it, because I'm kind of on the heavy side, with what I got going on with me. So that might be what's going on. You just are probably feel really heavy, which means that you got to pull more to actually turn. And then when you turn, now you got all that weight on this pendulum that you got to try to stop oscillating. That's what I felt on that 21-meter.
Yeah, oscillations are bad. I don't like them at all.
We just got $186 out of a $100 raise with $333. Stephen Goodpaster donated $101. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Anonymous donated 20. Paraninja donated 50. I'm scrolling up. Will Fly donated 5. You guys are absolutely amazing. You are helping you're helping paralyzed veterans. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Totally.
As we should.
Yeah,
Very
totally awesome.
amazing.
And just scroll back up the chat. I owe Nick Griffith $11, and he told me to donate it to Resurgence PPG. So I will do that, Nick. I'll do that tonight, man.
See, that's why I really I love this sport. There's no other sport that I know. I mean, being in the Marine Corps, we were brothers and sisters in the Marine Corps. If I have a flat tire, and I guess I got my sticker and I got my disabled, license plate, and if I'm over on the side of the road, it doesn't take long for another Marine to pull over and say, "Do you need any help?" Okay. And I know that we are the same way. If you were driving down the road and you saw somebody along the side of the road with their paramotor on their back and changing a tire, you'd pull over. I know I would.
I would.
This is awesome. We are brothers and sisters in this sport. This is such a small sport. I mean, there's not a lot of people here. Just like one of my students said, check out JP's paramotor stuff on TikTok. It's like, I know JP. I hung out with JP. It's like he's on our podcast. He was like, what? Surprised that we know these people and that we're close. There's not a lot of us out there, and we help support each other. We're good people. I love everyone out there. All you guys, you are amazing. All of you are. And I love Mondays because it shows me that there's good people in the world. It shows me that, faith in humanity, faith in humanity.
Yeah. I don't even fly. And it's just like, I've just, for how many years I've been like on your show, and I've just been embracing the whole thing, learning so much. And you guys are family. Absolutely.
Definitely a pair family, similar to a pair of dogs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Now.
You got warm in here, and I'm all sluggish and stuff, and freaking emotional and stuff. You guys, I love you guys.
Good.
You guys are awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right. Before I start bawling and tearing and stuff, thank you so much for all the donations.
Right.
You guys are amazing, and thank you for joining us here, tonight on the show.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go ahead and close. But you guys stay here. We'll talk for a couple minutes after we get off the show.
Oops, sorry.
Tomorrow, don't forget
Oh,
tomorrow we
man.
also have
Did you see
PPG.
that? I'm
What?
sorry,
No.
Sean. Look in the chat.
Hold on, I'm trying to get there. I went over to the Zoom thing so I could help close out everything. What do we got? What am I missing?
I see Stephen Goodpaster, $101. 2 paralyzed vets.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Well, thank you, Steve. That caught my eye. I'm like, man, that is totally awesome. I'm
Yeah,
stoked.
Stephen Goodpaster, amazing. So we're up to $186 of $100. We said that in 333 days, well, actually it's before that, I think it was like 350 days. I put them on some other videos. That I bet that I could probably raise $100. And tonight we raised $186. It goes straight to the paralyzed veterans. It doesn't go through me. It doesn't go through anybody else. You guys are amazing. I so appreciate y'all.
I should probably start paying attention. I'm sorry, man. But it was just as impressive as though I didn't see it.
It is impressive. It is. I mean, that is freaking amazing. I mean, Stephen, that was awesome. You know my phone number. We're friends. If you want one of these things right here, or anybody that donated tonight, let me know. I'll print you up something. I'll print you up throttles. I'll print you up this stuff. I got a 3D printer. Let me help you out. I mean, you helped some paralyzed veterans. Text me. Let me know if you want something. I'd be very happy to send you guys something. If you don't know my phone number, it's 501-747-3558. Just text me and say, hey, this is me. And, I'm sure I already have you in my phone. I think I have everybody in my phone. But if you want something, let me know. I'd love to print it up for you. And thank you so much for donating. We got another anonymous that donated $14. So now we're up to $200.
That's double.
That's sick.
That is awesome.
You guys are
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, you
Woo-hoo.
guys, you really did.
You guys are
Great
awesome.
night. Oh my gosh.
I have had such a good time. You guys are just awesome. You guys going to Salton Sea, says Stephen Goodpaster. I do not know.
Ninja's going, I think.
I would love to, but with students coming up, I know that I can go. I know I'm going to go to Bad Apples. I'm going to take my students to Bad Apples. We're going to go to Bad Apples. I think that I had so much fun last year. If I could go to Salton Sea, I would love to go to Salton Sea. I just don't know what what's going to go on. I mean, I ended up having 12 students in 1 month that called me. I got a couple more that's going to be coming in. I got a couple of Trike people that are going to be coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm not advertising. How am I getting so many people?
Because everybody, they go to your class or whatever, and then they tell their friend, hey, you got to come over, you got to come to this class. You got to come here. You come to this school. Come to this school. That's how it happens, just word of mouth. That's how, look how, these guests that I find on Facebook, and I watch the videos and I'm like, hey, this is cool. And I find Shane and I'm like, come into our world, come in, we're all family.
And here Shane is too,
it.
with only 13 flights under his belt,
Right.
Yeah.
and going on a Paramotor podcast talking about his Paramotor experience. And we talked for 2 hours already. Not including the half hour that you came in early before the pre-show.
Wow. That's how I get, that's, I love getting guests on here, and no matter if you're experienced, if you're not, I bring them in, Sean, I bring them in.
Absolutely. I do want to shout out Mark McElroy from Paralife PPG.
Yeah.
So
Love you, Mark.
paralifeppg.com. I know I did the same thing, Will. I did the same thing. He makes, I have my own merch store, but I got to shout out Mark. His stuff is top notch. Not to say mine isn't, mine's top notch, but thank you. for sending us these shirts. Thank you for being on panels. Thank you for being on our shows. Thank you for doing what you do for the community. So shout out to Mark McElroy at www.paralifeppg.com. We definitely appreciate you.
And Mark was a guest at one time.
Yeah.
Remember we brought him in when our show was like, it was the early days of the show.
The early days.
I call it the early days. We brought Mark in. And,
I can't believe that we're in our third year.
I know. It's exciting. I love it.
And also too, Shane from ppgshane.com, he started a show. He branched off from us to do a Tuesday night hangouts with all the stuff that he's doing. Eric Lear takes over for part of the month. So you can go to ppgshane.com, they'll forward to his YouTube channel, hit that subscribe and bell notification so you know when he pops up some new shenanigans, flying paramotors. And then Eric Lear, he took over, so he does the Tuesday night hangouts most of the month, I guess, besides the first. How does he do it? Shane does the first Tuesday of the month.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I gotta remember that.
Or the
So you go to ppglear.com, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you can watch his show, Tuesday Night Hangouts, just talking about paramotors and whatever else comes up. And then Jade, Paramotor Girl, paramotorgirl.com, she started an all-female podcast on Wednesdays. Absolutely amazing. She had an astronaut on. That blows my mind. Up to the moon type of thing. Blows my mind. It's amazing. So Jade is doing a podcast, all girl podcast. You got to check it out. Go to paramotorgirl.com. It goes to her YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe and bell notification if you have not done so already. And there's something else that happens on Thursday. What is that on Thursday?
Let me check my calendar. Oh, yes, Thursday night. Paraglidingtalk.com with your host, Robert Michaels. I always say the awesomest, Paramount knows. But this Thursday, there will not be a show because Robert is going to be at, what's the fly-in coming up?
Salton Sea.
Salton Sea.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. So he's
and Robert Michaels is who to you?
He's my
Who is
son.
Your son.
He's my awesomest. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're all connected.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah.
we're all connected.
Yeah. You know, Robert jumps on the Zoom sometimes, and say, come on, hang out with us,
Yeah, we had your son on here a couple of times. He jumped on, did a little cameo. We appreciate him for sure.
Good. We're all just family, and I send him the link. Hey, you want to jump in tonight? Come on in. Go hang out. And then his show comes on, and so it's all good.
When we first started this PPG Grandpa's Paramotor podcast a couple of years ago, one of the first people that we're able to get was Kyle O. So Kyle O jumped on, the person that makes the.
I forgot.
Remember that? Yeah. We also had Jeff Goen. He came on the podcast also.
Yeah.
We had a lot of big names, and we also had a lot of names that nobody knew about, just like Shane Wyman. But now people know Shane Wyman.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that we like to do is to make sure that, everybody gets a chance. Shane, he just started doing this, 13 flights, but he's on our show. So if you want to be on our show, you get up with ParamomUSA.com, Linda Anderson, and tell her that, hey, I want to be on the show because I want to talk about paramotors. I got a shirt that says, warning, may talk about paramotors, And I do. I love it.
That's all I talk about.
That's all I talk about. That's all I want to do is talk about paramotors. And Will Fly, you do a lot of amazing editing. You have really blossomed a lot. I mean, you have a lot of people, that are following you. All your videos have thousands upon thousands of views. You are definitely well known out in the paramotor community because you do make amazing videos. Tell us a little bit about your videos and how do we get up with you? How can we watch these awesome videos that you're making?
Well, yeah, you can. I just love making the videos, and I do have a passion for editing, or I'm a glutton for punishment, one of the two. But yeah, check me out. Will Fly YouTube, or you can go to willflyppg.com.
Willflyppg.com forwards over to his
And
YouTube
Shane,
channel.
I just subscribed to your YouTube channel tonight.
Yeah, I don't really have one. I just
Yeah, no,
I'd
you
like
do.
I'd like to do it, but everything I put on there is my friends that were hanging out and watched me fly. I put it up there so I can look and learn. And
I'm gonna keep track of you, man.
yeah, Kyle O told me one of the best things I can do is get a camera set up on a tripod and record those takeoffs and landings, and then we can go from there to dial those skills in. And that's gonna definitely be the next thing I do, along with next time I fly. So looking forward to it.
Paraninja said, can you provide the link to the 3D chase cam files off the giveaway? I got one off Thingiverse printed, but it's really heavy and unstable compared to the PPG Smoke. I bought the PPG Smoke back in the day, and that is a really good chase cam. This one feels actually lighter than the PPG Smoke one that I got, and they don't make them anymore. PPG Smoke doesn't make the chase cams anymore, which is why I'm trying to find all the cool ones that I can do. This is a chase cam, and then the fins are an add-on to it, because you can add on different things on that Thingiverse. If you just type in chase cam STL or chase cam 3D, what is it? 3D printer? Let me just do a quick check. I can't remember off, but I think it's chase cam STL, CHASE CAM STL. I think that goes to all the different ones. Yeah, there's so many out there. If you just do chase cam STL, because it's STL files, you're going to find a ton of different places. And of course, Thingiverse has it. I scroll down here and I see a bunch. If you guys have nothing better to do, we can talk about 3D printers.
Yeah,
Shane, while I'm looking for these 3D things, is there anything that you want to talk about as far as things that you want to do in the future or anything like that?
Just get proficient at flying, and that's it. I just want to do it and start progressing, start trying to do some light acro or stuff like that. Hopefully.
Well, the acro and stuff, I would definitely go to a
SIV.
an
For
SIV,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of SIVs across the United States. Just check with different places, talk with different people, look online, and see what you can find as far as SIVs. I know that a bunch of us went down to Florida, and we did the SIV course down there. Now I'm over here on Thingiverse, and I downloaded everything, and I've tried to print a lot of them. Some of them don't print very well. This is a windsock with a chase cam in it. Have you seen that one? That's pretty cool. Here's one with the wings. Chase cam for ultralight aircraft. So this one prints out with the different wings. So you take this one right here, the 4 STL files, and then you go back to, because this was remixed, and where was the original? I can't remember where the original was. It might be under the thing details. Oh, okay. So here's the remix from this. So here's the main one. So what I do is I get, okay, so it's this one with the green and blue. So I got this piece right here, the front that holds on to the chase cam. So I grabbed that STL, the octagon base, the naked plate, and the GoPro fork. And then I went over to the other one. Do you want me to go ahead and put these in the chat? So let me copy that and put that in the chat for you.
Aaron Ninja said that the one you just held is the one that he had trouble with.
Really? As far as like after you printed it, put it together and went to fly with the wings?
Yeah, so what happened, Aaron Ninja? So is that the one with the fins? The one you just held didn't it have fins? Or no?
So the ones with fins was a remake of this one that's green and blue. So somebody somebody gives you like all the different files. Okay. And you can remake it or remix it. So he said, yes, Sean, that's the problem one with the fins. Okay.
He said that his didn't have, I guess, wings or fins though.
Okay. Yeah, the remix with the fins look like it's going to be good. I mean, it looks like it's going to be good. I put the GoPro 5 session on it, and the way it's set up, you know, it looks like it's going to be very dynamic. It looks like it's going to be good. So I
it's a
can't wait to
redesign. That's the reason for the fins.
yeah, it's a redesign. Yeah, it's a remix, I think they call it.
Remix.
So I've tried multiple string configurations. The way that PPG Smoke told me to do it is when you have a hoop or a string or a line, whatever you want to call it, and it's a double right there, right? You just put it around and through, and then you have that configuration right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. And then right above that, that's where you tie it off, and then you have your single line to your C. And for those of you that have tried these before, don't tie it on to your D line. Put it on your C line. If you have A's, B's, C's, and D's, centermost C. Don't put it on your D. You'll collapse your back wing. It'll go down a little bit. It'll be like it's pulling brake on you. It just feels weird. C always seems to work. Just like doing tests, see your way out.
Yeah.
Paraninja said, yep, in my last videos, it's really unstable, but no fins though. Yep. Now, this one seems like it's pretty close to the PPG Smoke one. And, I mean, very, very similar, other than you have to use zip ties to put it together. Where the heck is Hay Bale? A Yankee Paramotor said, where the heck is Hay Bale? He wasn't able to make it. He texted us before the show and so he wasn't able to make it. Darn. Let me look up here. Anything else that I missed? Oh, 3D. Okay, so Mickey Alberto said, oh, 3D printer recommendations. All right, so I found this one on Lightning Deal on Amazon for $85. It's 100 by 100 by 100 millimeter base plate. It prints a little bit slower, but it's called Easy Thread, and it prints really good. Very surprising. However, $100 more than that, and I'm actually gonna get one of these. Let me go to smile.amazon.com and type in 3D printer, and I'll show you the ones that other people got and they showed me. And I think this is the one that Eric said that he has also. Eric, if you're still in the chat, which one did you say that you got as far as a 3D printer? So this is the one I got right here. This is the 3D printer. It's the A350T. It's a 3-in-1 printer. Not only does it 3D print, but also has a laser engraving laser, which is cool, and has CNC carving to carve metal, wood, or whatever. And I haven't used those yet because I want to get enclosure. But that's really good. This one, the Amazon Choice, the Ender 3, this is the one I heard that everybody gets. It's $189 shipped.
Wait, that's what you got? You didn't get that one, did you?
I did not get this one, no, but this is my next one that I want to get because it's only $189 shipped, and look at the size. It's 220 by 220 by 250. Mine is 350 by 350 by 350. So, this is for the price. If this prints like this thing prints, this would be an amazing deal. I wanted the CNC. I wanted the bigger plate because I want to do, more things for the paramotor community. And the CNC and the laser engraving. So
Eric got the Prusa.
the what was it? The Prusa?
Prusa. Uh-huh.
How do you spell it?
Prusa.
Okay, so he got the Prusa. Oh, that one looks like it's a good one. Prusa.
Yeah, man, he keeps that thing going 24 hours a day. I believe.
This is the first time this thing's taken a break since I got it.
Really?
I've gone through 3 spools of it's 1 kilogram, so that's 2.2 pounds. I've gone through 3 of those.
Okay, so how much does a spool, if that's what you call it, cost?
So what I do is I look for 3D printer filament, and it's all over it. You can get it for $20 for a spool.
Okay.
I got some that were cheaper. The normal one that most people will get is the PLA, and it kind of stands for plastic. You also got the PETG, and they're all like 1.75 millimeter that I've seen so far. I'm very new to this, so I don't know a lot. Somebody texted me and said that they do a lot of printing other than Eric up in Wisconsin. And was it Josh from PPG Zone, or was it, who was it? I can't remember. Somebody also has a couple of these printers, and they print nonstop too.
Hey, Sean, Shane has to head out.
Yeah.
Oh, Shane. Okay, bud. Yeah. So go ahead and head on out. I'm so sorry. We started talking about
No, you're good. Thanks for having me. And well, it's nice
3D
meeting you.
stuff. I'm sorry about that. It's silly. I mean, I get into this stuff. I talk about paramotors, talk about printers. Hey, Shane, thank you so much for joining us today, buddy. I appreciate you. Thank you, Linda, for letting me know that you had to go. You can just say, I need to go.
That's all right.
That's what I do.
Now you're on our guest chat, which means that you're going to see every week what our ID and passcode is to come on here. You can be, because you're a guest, you can come on as a panel member anytime that you want to.
Awesome.
Right.
So anytime you're trying to jump on Mondays, just come on and jump on.
Yep.
I'll do that.
And it is after 9 o'clock, so we probably do have to go now.
Hey, I appreciate it.
So thank you so much. I guess maybe we need to do a Zoom call and just talk about 3D printers one of these days.
Yeah,
You
man.
do that. That's some pretty interesting stuff.
All right. So anybody that wants to do a 3D printing Zoom with me, let me know, and we can do it. Like I said, my number is 501-747-3558. If I don't already have you on my phone, please text me so I know who you are, and we'll get to chatting. Shane, if you want to come over here anytime during the summertime to use any of my wings, you're more than welcome to. Anybody out there that has a veteran friend that wants to get training, get them in touch with me. And just like what Resurgence PPG does, we can get them in and get them trained for free.
Right on.
You guys have an amazing day. Don't forget tomorrow with ppglear.com, Wednesday with paramotorgirl.com, and then Thursday we have
paraglidingtalk.com, but
Yeah.
not this Thursday.
but not this Thursday, darn it.
Next
All right.
Thursday. Yeah.
And Will Fly, thanks for jumping on. Linda Anderson, thank you for everything, of course. And Shane Wyman, thank you very much for being on season 3, episode 107 of PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, ClearPropTV and paratalk.org. See y'all tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Peace out, y'all.
We'll see you.
Okay. This was good.